Hey everyone, I'm Jana Reeves, and I'm really excited to be here with y'all tonight. I'm excited to share. I used to feel defeated, deflated, doubtful, discouraged, and even down in the dumps. All the D's, okay? Not all the time, but more than I really liked. And I felt this way when I went to bed after a day of working my business. And I couldn't figure out why. I had goals and I was excited about doing the business, but there was something missing. And I loved doing many things in the business, but I just felt like every day I wasn't accomplishing what I wanted. Well, it took me 4 years, y'all, 4 years. But I'm excited to say that I now feel empowered, confident, excited, and ready for each day to get to work. I even woke up before my alarm this morning excited, and I felt this way for several weeks and months now. Since November, that's when I established my systems. Well, and that's the word. I'm going to share my screen. I have some slides. And I had to learn something new. So I'm excited about that. All right. Can y'all see that? Let me see. Yeah. I don't know why there's a clock going here. We'll pause that. Okay, can y'all see this? Oh,
Did you hit the share screen button?
oh, that would be a good idea. There we go. Thank you. And there. Okay, there. Actually. All right. That is not the screen I wanted. Let me see.
You are in presenter view.
Okay.
So maybe hit escape. Hit escape. Or X out of it. Just X out of it. Yeah, exit
There we go.
presentation. Now hit share or present and record. Not record. I don't know why it says that, but present.
We'll go back. Yeah. Oh, wait.
Just present. Present. Under copy link. See where it says present?
Mhm.
See that purple bar that says copy link? Nope.
Let me go back.
All right.
Oh, I see.
I'm pointing at it with my mouse, but you can't see my mouse. Don't hit present. It's right next to that. Yes, right there.
Present. Yes. Okay. There we go.
All right, now present. Hit present. No. Down.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Brittany. I walked through this whole thing and I was like, oh, I'm going to remember. Totally didn't when that first screen.
It's confusing. It really is. There's a learning curve on Canva.
There is. I should have written down the steps, then I would have known. Okay, well, I am so excited to be sharing systems with y'all. All right, so systems. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. If any of you have read Atomic Habits, then you remember this was one of the quotes that James Clear said in his book. It is so important because systems are basically how you will reach your destination or goal. Think of systems as plans, habits, and action steps. Our systems get us at different speeds where we want to be. I first want to tell you what systems will provide us. Systems 1 will provide us an opportunity to enhance decision making. We are no longer trying to figure out what to do. We know what to do when we have systems. 2, they reduce wasted time. We can use our time wisely and make each moment count. I was constantly trying to decide what to do first each day. It was a time waster, and at the end of the day, it was frustrating. So I found some systems. 3, they keep us consistent. Life happens. The right daily systems shows us what to do to keep our business on track when our mind might be elsewhere. Listen, many of us have had sickness, trauma, interruptions like wonderful cruises. That's a fun interruption. Vacations, weddings, even tragic events like unexpected death. That is part of life experiences. And that's how life seems to flow at times. And while I believe it's definitely okay to focus on priorities at different times, it's wonderful to know that we can confidently step back into the system and tasks of our business with ease. Systems also provide measuring and scalability. A system allows for us to have the ability to find gaps, decide what is working and what is not, and can grow with us as our business grows. Systems also provide confidence. There's a strong relationship between completing tasks and confidence. Confidence comes after you start, not before. So it's hard to feel confident if we don't know where to start or what to do. And lack of confidence often leads to less motivation, mindset issues, lack of progress, and lack of excitement. I believe God designed us to feel fulfilled in our work for Him. Lastly, systems provide excitement, something I like to have in my life. A system that is reliable, produces results, and that we enjoy will keep us on task and reaching our goals even when things get hard or uncomfortable. Now, the most important question: how did I design my daily system? I want you to know that this is not a perfect system. It is even an ever-growing system. Also, this system may not be for you. You may have found your system. You may love your system. You may love what is working for you, and that's great. If you have, please make sure you're sharing it with other people, because there are tons of people out there wanting to know how to have a system that works for them every day, that they can get excited and confident about and grow their business and share with others. So share your ideas so we can all get excited together. If you are in the Plexus Freedom January mentorship, that is a system. It's a dynamic system. It's duplicatable, and it will bring success in reaching our goals and helping others do the same, reach their goals. And we want to make sure this is a business of helping others. Get in that system if you're not, and make sure to utilize it. We had a great call at 8 o'clock, so it was dynamic. So make sure you're in that system. Okay. How did I design my system? I started with this first step. Do I even know what I need to focus on each day? I remember sitting down over and over again thinking, what's the first thing I need to do? I'm not even sure. And so I had to go back to something of the original foundation of this business that I remember learning so long ago. And that was the 4 pillars. We need to focus on the 4 pillars: recruitment, retention, duplication, and leadership. Those are essential for maintaining and building our business and helping others do the same. It seems so simple if you've watched the Getting Started 101 video. If you haven't, then I would suggest you do. But I felt overwhelmed just thinking about those 4 and how I was going to break it down. So I just started small. And this is what I did. Let me go through the four pillars real quick. Recruitment is reaching out and following up to new prospects to offer better help and or opportunities to bless their families through the Plexus Biz. Retention is customer care to help our customers get great results on their products. Duplication is the process of turning customers into business partners so that more people would know about better health through Plexus products and receive financial blessings through the biz. Also, I'm advertising for Canva there because I still am learning how to put pictures on here, although I did learn today, but it was too late. So next, leadership is pursuing intentional and deliberate ways to grow ourselves so we can serve others well by adding value to others through influence. Step 2, what task do I complete first in each of the pillars? So I remember that I needed to focus on the pillars, and that's what I did. And I literally took 4 pieces of paper. I sat down, I took 4 pieces of paper, and then I wrote out some things about each pillar. At the top of the paper, I wrote each pillar and on each piece of paper, and I did this. I made a list of 2 groups for each pillar. I decided what I really liked about retention and then the not so much things, the things I disliked about retention. I did the same for recruitment, started recruitment, did retention, duplication, and leadership. I wrote down the likes and the dislikes. And after I made that list, I realized some things about myself. And I mainly started digging deep about the areas that I didn't like, the dislikes, because I realized I was avoiding those things, but they were essential for my business. And I was concerned about myself because why didn't I enjoy some of those things? And we're not going to enjoy everything in this business. We're going to have to get uncomfortable. It's just the way it is. But I asked myself these 4 questions about the things that I dislike. What keeps me from enjoying this part of my work? Am I serving others well in this area? Am I unsure of what to do? And am I willing to just be uncomfortable and take messy action until I figure it out? Well, what I realized was that there were areas I wasn't serving others well in. And that made me feel, of course, terrible. But then I realized I didn't feel so terrible because the reason was I wasn't really sure what to do. It wasn't because I didn't care about them. It was because I just didn't know what to do in those areas. So what I started doing was training, and I just watched videos, asked questions. I really honed in on how I could better serve people in those areas that I was avoiding and the things I did not like. So after I did that, and let me say this, because when we are avoiding tasks or when we're not understanding and we're not doing the things sometimes we don't like, that means that maybe there's a gap in our business also, and it could be getting wider and overwhelming, which can lead to mindset issues, added stress, guilt, burnout, imbalance in our business, and points going backwards. Ask me how I know. So after I did that and I wrote all those things down and I really analyzed and I started training and learning more, step 4, this is what I did. I organized each pillar into a set of tasks. That seems so simple too. Like I get how simple this seems. Like, oh, you write the pillars down, you organize it, you find out what you like. Yeah, it really was that simple. And I'm still growing in these areas though. But I had to organize it. And that was really the priority, like making sure I knew what tasks I needed to do and how I had them organized. So decide if you want to start with the likes or dislikes. That was one of the things I was like, okay, am I going to start with the things I like or start with the things I dislike? And that's up to everybody. I've tried both and I realized that I enjoyed meeting my task every day if I started with the things I like. And then I write each task down that you're going to do under each pillar. And that's what I did. So here's just an example. This is just a simple example of the first pillar of recruitment that I did. And I want you to know something. I have systems in systems. It would take too much time for me to share all my systems at this point. But I have a big 3-ring binder and I'm able to add to it or take away. I really love it. And I also have the January mentorship information in there, and it organizes right into my daily systems, because in the mentorship, it also talks about the 4 pillars. It may not name them all, but that's exactly what they're doing. Customer care, which is retention, all the things that we need to do to grow our business. And that was very exciting to me, to be able to just add all the information we can receive from the mentorship right in there easily in the systems I've already set up. So here's what I decided with recruitment. This is just an example. So this is what I look at every day. And then I have a daily task sheet each day. So I write down who viewed my stories and who liked my post from the previous day. That's the first thing I do when I sit down. The next thing I do is I complete stories first, or my first post or a reel for the day. Then I send birthday wishes and invite at least one new person from Facebook to be my friend. Next, I engage or comment on 10 to 20 people who viewed my stories or comments on posts. Emily literally just went over this in the mentorship. Because it's an essential part of our business, and I find that very fun, a very fun part. So then I reach out to 3 to 5 new people about Plexus, and I gather those people often from the people who have viewed my stories and who've been watching me, because that's my warm market. Those are people that have been watching me and following me and knowing who I am. And so I reach out to 3 to 5 people, and you can do as many as you want. Some people are really great. They want to reach out to 10. You have to decide what works for you. And then I follow up with 3 to 5 people, and I'm sure to bring, when I follow up, those people new information each time. Maybe I'm inviting them to an event. Maybe I'm sending them a testimony. Maybe I'm just engaging a little more somehow on something that they've posted, and then following up to see if they've read my last message. But I'm coming to them with something new each time. Okay, let's review. Know what to do. So you focus on the 4 pillars. You decide which task to start with each day, the likes versus the dislikes. And then as you organize your task, you find out what you don't know. So you got to dig deeper. You find the gaps, you see what's missing, you see what maybe you're deficient in, and you focus on how to make sure that you're enjoying those a little bit better every day, or at least making sure you're doing them, even if you're uncomfortable, and taking messy action until you figure it out. And then step 4, organize each pillar into a set of tasks. And that's all I did. I know that some of you probably are like, wow, it's so simple. It truly is. It is simple, but it takes time. It really takes a lot of time to make sure you're developing your systems, you're making them work for you, you're enjoying them. And sometimes we have to slow down to do that. That's probably the hardest part of it. It's not about any single accomplishment. It is about the cycle of endless refinement and continuous improvement. Ultimately, it is your commitment to the process that will determine your progress. Your commitment will be better if you know what to do each day. Now I'm gonna figure out how to stop. Okay. Well, that was only 23 minutes, probably less. So I have a numerous amount of systems actually now, but they all flow together. So I have a daily action sheet, which actually is a weekly action sheet in one for my retention. And then I have a sheet for my customer care, recruitment is a weekly action sheet. And it's just on one page. It's that simple. I've organized it down to that. So I can see what I'm doing each week with my recruitment. Then retention is customer care. And so I have one sheet of paper that I use for that I can look at who I've cared for during the week. And then duplication, same thing, and leadership is the same. So I've been able to customize it for me, and I hope this has been helpful for y'all to figure out how to organize your systems.
Jana, everybody is saying that it was very, very helpful. Angela's asking, can you share your process for the other pillars? Like you showed your process for recruitment. Can you share your process for retention and duplication and all the other stuff?
I don't have them right there, but I can put them like in the chat if you want me to. If y'all want to see my steps, is that what she wants to see, Angela?
Yeah. Or you can just
Yes.
tell us. You can just tell us
Okay.
and maybe take a picture and put
Yeah.
it in the chat.
Yeah, I can do that. I have those on slides too. Those are actually a little cuter. I will say that the recruitment has a lot more steps in it, and retention, duplication, and leadership is not as much. So I will definitely, I can put those in the chat. I'll be happy to. Like, this is my leadership. See, it's on a cute piece of paper. Oh, you probably can't see it, but it just
We can't read it.
Oh, okay, I'll put it in there, but it's basically whatever book we're studying and what I've learned from that. Any podcast or training, it gives a little bit of room to make like things that stand out in each, either the book or the podcast or training. And then coaching calls and any meetings that I have for leadership. That's my leadership.
Okay, I love that. So when you sit down to work, you start with your recruitment tasks, do all those, and then you move to
retention.
What? Okay, tell us the retention. Tell us like in what order you do it all. Like you sit down to work.
I sit down to work and I start with recruitment. And my recruitment, I have not put this on Canva because I'm still learning Canva. And I quickly did all the things for today to show y'all. So I'm learning some things. But this is seriously how you probably can't see it. It's probably too bright. This is my week for recruitment. It's literally on one side of paper. I look at my tasks and then I write everything down on one piece of paper. I want to get that real pretty so I can show y'all. But it's nice to just be able to look at, because I don't like to have pages and pages of things.
So what are your retention tasks?
My retention tasks are, let me go to that. My retention tasks are here. Okay. It looks like my retention task looks like this, so you can't see it. But my retention tasks are one. I make a weekly list of my customers. I don't try to overwhelm myself with trying to reach out to every customer during the week. I found that it was just impossible. I couldn't do it unless I was sending out a newsletter, something like that. Then I could easily do just through email. And I do that at the beginning of the month. But weekly, I just make a weekly list of my customers. Now, these are customers that are ordering, or they could be active or inactive, but I go through my list and I just write in 5 people a day, 6 days a week. And then I'm done with that part of my task. Now, I do have my calendar for new joins. So I do have a calendar I look at every day for new joins. That way I can look at and say, okay, it's day 4. I'll show y'all actually.
So you're saying for new customers, they go in the retention system on your planner. And then the ones where you're saying, I make a list of 5 or 10 of my customers, those are people who've been ordering like long time.
Yes, long term
ordering. They're past like the 90-day mark, and you just want to like keep in touch and all of that. Okay.
And check in. So I go ahead and look at my back office and I make a list of those. And I do that at one sitting on Monday morning. Like that way I'm done. Okay. With trying to think about the customer instead of going back in my back office. And so then every day I reach out to 5 active customers a day. Now I might choose to reach out to an inactive customer. Sometimes I do when I'm making that list, because I'll be like, well, they've been inactive for 3 months and I feel like I should reach back out to them. So sometimes I do. Everybody has to make a choice about that. So I reach out And there are times I reach out to inactive customers, maybe when an event's happening, or, I'll reach out to my white lines on occasion. So then I do send the newsletter every month, so they all get that. But then I send weekly information and ask questions to those 5 people each day. So sometimes I'll just ask them like, hey, engage and ask them how they're doing on their products, how are things going? And sometimes I'll remember a conversation we had, and I'll think of like, oh, I feel like I need to send this video. I think they would really like this. Or, oh, I know they have thyroid issues. I'm going to send them this information I read about thyroid. So I'll just send them something personal to that person, or I just engage and check on them. But I already have my 5 people for that day, so I don't have to think about it. And then I look at the calendar for new customer retention day, which is the calendar I just said that I look at. So those are my daily steps pretty much. These are weekly and daily because customer care, it's kind of mixed together like that. It's a little more simple.
How much time do you spend on your recruitment tasks each day versus your retention tasks?
Oh, recruitment's a lot longer because of making posts and stories. That takes me an hour usually. And then I'm engaging with people, doing the birthdays. I probably spend 2 hours or 3 on recruitment, because follow-ups can take a little longer, especially if they have questions, things like that. And sometimes it takes me a long time to send a message. I do have a hang up there. So I realize that I can only send out, 3 to 5 messages a day to new and to follow-ups, because I do get in my head about my messages. Although that's getting better. It's getting a lot better. But
Well, you
probably,
consistently recruit though. You
yeah. So
consistently every month. I mean, I feel like most months you recruit at least 3.
yeah. Yeah.
So your reach outs are probably quality, is what I'm saying. You don't
Yes.
have to do a million of them, because the
Right.
ones that you are did the 3 to 5, you're saying it takes you so long. That's because you're focused on quality, like connect with the
Mhm.
person on the other side of that screen, and that
Mhm.
gets you really good results.
Yes. Somebody asked me, let's see, Linda, do you spread out the pillars during the week? No, I do a pillar every day. I do the 4 pillars every day, every single day. So when I lay my head down, I'm like, and it's not a perfect system. There may be part of a pillar that I did not hit a task. There may be a task. There's no perfection in it, but I will say now, since I've organized and found the systems that work for me, I can lay down at night and be like, I hit every system. I feel more confident about the tasks I've done every day, and I'm seeing the results. So that's been helpful. Let's see, how long is your IPA? Yeah, IPA is 2-3 hours, and I'll tell you why it's that long. It does take me a long time to do a really good post. Now, since Super Saturday, I think I did a post this morning. Oh, I did a reel this morning. And when we're all tagging each other in all those great posts, I usually don't worry about it. If somebody makes a really amazing post and they tag me in it, I just let that stand, because people are going to read it. I like it. And so I just leave that. So that's helpful sometimes. Also, let's see. Oh, what are your duplication tasks? That's a great question. Let me find it. Oh, I'm in a different place. I did just make my notebook recently, so because I made all that mentorship stuff. Where did I put my duplication? Well, let me see if I can answer a question while I find that. Oh, here it is. Duplication. Duplication is very simple still, but this is what it looks like. It's real, you can't see it. I'll put these in our chat, but I send one new biz message a day, at least one. It's often two now, but I at least send one new business message. Then second, I make sure that I have my objections messages handy. If you're in the mentorship program, then you should have your, a message sheet handy. It's really good. But if not, I have lots of them saved on my phone. So I use my phone for that. And I just make sure I have it right there with me when I start to reach out, or when I see that someone has responded to a biz reach out. And then I help my team members where they are in the process. So if I have any new team members that I'm helping, I make sure that I go in and really give them a lot of attention. I'll comment on their Facebook. I'll look at their stories. I go and ask them questions. I see where they're at, help them. So I spend a lot of time with that. And that does take a while, but it's not the same every day. Some days my team's like, yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm doing this, they're feeling good that day. And then some days I have to spend a little more time, extra time there. But I make sure that I do move my coaching calls into my leadership instead of my duplication. I don't know, Brittany, what do you think? Would you say coaching was leadership or duplication? Which one?
I think that's a great question. I think it depends on how new they are. I think
Okay.
if it's a brand new business builder, that goes under duplication.
Okay.
But if it's somebody who's been, if they're like gold and beyond, I'd say that goes under leadership.
Okay. Yeah.
But I love how you prioritize all your tasks, Jana. Like even if you have a new business builder, you're gonna put that in order. Like your day is organized into all your recruitment tasks first, then your customer care, then your business reach out. Well, your duplication, under duplication, you have business reach outs
Yes.
plus basically serving brand new business builders.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Then
And handling objections.
Okay. There's lots of questions in this
There's
chat,
objections.
just so you know.
Okay, good. We'll need to go back. So, okay. Sorry, y'all shout out one. Let's see. Oh, can we get a copy of the assistants? Yes, I will put them all in the chat.
So the first one I see, and I could have missed some, I didn't scroll all the way through, but Carrie asks, how do you duplicate your system? So what do you start your new business builders off with? Did you see that one?
Yes, well, now I start them off with the mentorship program because that's fire. I mean, that's the system right there to start anybody off. It's really got them all. It's got all the pillars in there. It truly does. And so anybody who starts off with that, and I'm so excited. And I thought it was I believe it was the Lord, of course, but I just thought it was so interesting that November, I'm organizing my systems. I'm realizing what I need to do. And then come January, we have this dynamic system, for mentoring, and it just really flows right into how I've developed my systems. And I was really grateful. So that's what I do first. I would put them in the mentorship program.
Okay, good. Then the next one is Amy, who asks, when do you make your weekly list?
I do try to do it on Sundays if I can, and I mean leisurely. Like I leisurely make lists on Sundays. I do believe Sunday is a day that I need to rest, and everybody can, have their own Sabbath. But Sundays for me is leisure. But I'll sit down and just, casually make my list. Which I do. I make all my lists on Sunday if I can, except yesterday I didn't because I was working on this, and I usually don't, but I was working on this yesterday. So Monday morning, sometimes I will, let's say if I'm busy on Sundays, I don't like to start my Monday off making my lists. I like to be prepared. I like to just get going, but I will if I need to, like I did today.
Okay. I think you already answered Linda's question.
Mhm.
Nancy asks, how long is your IPA?
It can be 2 to 3 hours. And honestly, like I said, the post, like a good post for me is gonna take me some time.
So I
Um,
don't know if she's asking like how long are all of your recruitment tasks total? Because you do have social media under that,
yes.
birthdays, connecting, engaging, adding new friends. Like you had a lot under there besides just like the directly income producing things,
Mhm.
like Plexus conversations. So I don't know if she's asking like how long are your recruitment tasks total or the actual reach outs and follow ups. I'm not
I
sure.
think it was like everything, like your entire system of the 4 pillars.
Oh, okay.
Are you looking, it's like 2 to 3 to 4 hours? I mean, that's taking some time. And then, of course, you adding to that probably, your podcast or whatever, that may not even be included in that because
Yeah.
your personal development is going to take a long time as well.
I really spend 5 to 6 hours now on my business. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. Now, I will say I was able to build to senior Ruby, spending 3 hours on my business. I was, but there were gaps, there were some holes, but it was still doable. I mean, it was possible. And for some people, that may be really possible, like just spending 3 hours and probably some dynamic people, but I'll be honest, that ain't me. I'm kind of slow. I realize it takes me 3 times longer than most people. But so I spend 5 or 6 hours. It may be more some days on my business, but at least, and I actually made that a goal a few months ago. I realized I needed to just really treat it like I was working a full-time job as much as possible. A full-time job would be 8 hours. So hey, I'm still winning. I'm not probably not doing 8 hours some days, but 5 or 6 hours a day.
I
That's a
feel
good
like that's
question.
reasonable for 6-figure goals.
Okay.
Um, do you break your schedule or do you do all of those? I think she's asking,
Yeah.
do you work your business all at one time and then you're done? Or is it like different, like an
Yeah.
hour here, an hour there?
Yeah.
Is it broken?
So I try to work from 10 to 12 so I'll work 2 hours. I do some things before that if my day goes well. I'd like to start it at 9, but I've realized 10 is like really where I'm usually at. Now I may have my stories done and my name's written down for my stories and my stories done by 10. That happens a lot because I'll do that sometimes while like I have a few minutes before I take the girls to school, and I'll sit down and write those names out and do my stories. So I may do that and then that's done. But anyway, I usually start about 10. I work till 12. I take a lunch. I start again at 12, usually 12:30, 12:45. And I do teach PE 2 days a week just for an hour. So on those days, I'll work for another hour. So that's 3 hours in the morning. If I don't have to teach PE, I get to work 2 more hours. So that's 4 hours in the morning. So 4 hours before lunch. And then, so 3 to 4 hours before lunch. And then after I get home, I probably work 2 more hours. I do, at least. So there are days I definitely work more than 5 or 6 hours, but I work, 2 more hours afterwards. And if we have calls at night, I mean, then it's even longer. But if we have a call, I don't usually listen to a podcast or a training unless I'm listening to it at the gym or something. So I don't overtrain myself. I've done that. I don't over podcast, overread, I've done that in my life. And I do overread. That's a complete lie. Because I read a lot of books. But it's not all about business,
Right.
And some things are business related that help me in other areas. Like right now, I'm listening to a book about finances by a Jewish rabbi. And I've made several posts about that book, and I'm just listening to it while I'm cooking, So it depends. But then, of course, I'm reading our book now, Compound Effects. So that's part of my training.
All right, I think that's all the questions in the chat, Jana. I think everybody loved this call. You did a great job. So thank you for sharing this. Everybody wants to see pictures of your stuff. If you
Okay.
want to share that in the chat. So
Mhm.
thank you. Really, really good. I'm gonna
Okay.
you
Okay.
can go ahead and stop recording if
Oh.
you want, Jana. And then
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and turn my camera off and